When the time of death came near, the father called his son Danpal and said, "Son, I do not have any wealth for you to inherit, but I have worked all my life with truth and honesty, so I can only give you my blessings. I bless you that you will live a happy life. Even dust will become gold with your touch." The son bowed his head and touched his father's feet. He blessed him by placing his head and gave up his life. Now all the responsibility is on Danpal. He had to handle all the expenses of the house. So he started his business with small hand cart. Slowly his business started growing and he opened a small shop. The business grew further. Now Danpal is counted among the rich people of the city. Danpal always believed that it was all a result of his father's blessings, because his father never gave up his patience, faith, truth, and honesty. All his success was the fruition of his father's blessings. Danpal would always say this again and again. One day his friend asked, "If your father had so much strength, then why did he suffer? Why didn't he use this to prosper himself?" Danpal replied, "I am not talking about the power of my father, but about the power of his blessings." Many years passed. Danpal started doing business abroad. Wherever he did business, he would make a lot of profit. One day it came to his mind, "I only benefit, so should I try to experience loss once?" So he asked one of his friends and asked him about a business that could cause him a loss. Friend felt that Danpal had become proud of his success and money. So, to remove his arrogance, I should tell him about a business that he would definitely lose. He told him, "You buy clothes in India and load them on a ship and take them to sell in Zanzibar, Africa, because Zanzibar is the land of clothes. Clothes are purchased in India and sold here for 10 to 12 times the price. If you buy clothes here in India and then sell them in Zanzibar, then you will definitely suffer a loss." Danpal liked his idea and bought clothes in India, packed them, loaded them on a ship and reached Zanzibar Island. Zanzibar was ruled by a sultan. When Danpal was on his way to meet a merchant from Zanzibar, he saw a person coming from the front with soldiers. He asked one of those soldiers, "Who is this?" A soldier replied, "This is the Sultan of Zanzibar." Seeing him in front, Sultan asked Danpal for an introduction. Danpal greeted him and said, "I am a trader from India and I have come here to do business." Sultan started talking to him. Danpal saw that soldiers were carrying big sieves instead of swords or guns. He was surprised to see this and politely asked the Sultan, "Why are your soldiers carrying big sieves with them?" Sultan laughed and said, "Thing is, in the morning I went for a walk on the beach and one of my ring fell from my finger into the sand, and I didn't notice it then. When I noticed that I had lost my ring, I went back with my soldiers carrying sieves to filter sand to find my ring." Danpal said, "The ring must be very expensive." Sultan said, "No, I have countless rings worth much more than that, but that ring is a mystic's blessings, and I believe that my sultanate is very happy with the blessings of that mystic. That's why for me that ring is invaluable." After saying this, the Sultan asked, "What goods have you bought for trade?" Danpal replied, "Clothes." Sultan was surprised at his answer. He said, "This is the land of clothes and you came here to sell clothes. Who gave you such advice? Surely that someone must be your enemy, because here you can buy a handful of clothes for a penny. Who will buy clothes from you? What will you earn?" Danpal said, "I have come to see whether I will be able to make a profit here or not, because with my father's blessings, whatever business I have done till now, I have only made a profit. So I want to see whether his blessings will bear fruit here as well." Sultan asked, "Father blessing, what does this mean?" Danpal said, "My father worked all his life with honesty and integrity, but couldn't earn money. At the time of his death, he blessed me by taking God's name, saying that even dust in your hand would turn into gold. While saying this, Dhanpal bent down and took a handful of sand from the ground, then opened his fist in front of the Sultan and dropped sand from between his fingers. Both Dhanpal and Sultan couldn't believe their eyes. It was the Sultan's last ring in his hand. Sultan was very pleased to see the ring and said, God made your father's blessings true. Dhanpal replied, the same God makes the blessings of a mystic true. Sultan was very happy and said, I will give you whatever you ask for today. Dhanpal said, may you live for 100 years and take care of your people well. People live happily. Other than that, I don't want anything. Listening to this, the Sultan became more pleased and said, I will buy your goods and will give you the price you asked for. This story teaches us that if you have the blessings of your father or elder, then no power in the world will allow you to be defeated anywhere. There is no other asset like blessings. Therefore, always respect your elders. This is the greatest service of God. Thank you for watching. Stay happy and stay blessed.